name is Terrence Lee Whitaker, known as Terry, and my rank was IC2SS, which is Interior Communications Electrician. So when the boat came back, I picked her up in the yards in San Francisco, and that started my history on the Spinax. And the first day I came aboard, I had been a snake collector in high school and I had a snake hook, so I was dubbed Snake the day I came on board, and that was my name for the next 3 years. I picked her up in the yards in San Fran, and it was pretty intimidating because the parts and pieces were laying everywhere and big holes cut in her. But the crew immediately accepts a new person. They can tell real quick if you're going to fit in or not. And the crew was very, very good. Well, where I worked was in the maneuvering room, and a lot of my equipment was in the engine room, so I stayed back in the back of the submarine. And Fort Torpedo Room was a visiting place, and then the captain's quarters came next in the galley. And like I said, everything, the social part of the boat was in the galley, because there's just not a whole lot of other places to socialize. We didn't have tubes aft because the boat was a radar picket ship when she was originally put in the water. So we had room for special equipment and special people in the aft end of the boat. But from a compartmental standpoint, in my opinion, what impresses me about submarines is you could go anywhere on that submarine that you wanted to go, except on special ops. We couldn't go in the radio room. Other than that, it was your home. You should knock on the captain's door, though, before you go in there. But other than that, you could go anywhere you wanted. It is the best in the world because everybody wants to be there. There are personalities sometimes that don't necessarily, you don't drink with everybody. You certainly get along and work with everybody because he may save your life, or you may save his life. And that's the advantage of being there. We're all trained to do basically everything on the boat. When you qualify, I had to be able to explain how to fire torpedoes, run the engines. The enginemen had to be able to explain the same thing and to run my compartment. So everybody knows the basic job function of everybody else in case they have to do their job. Oh, we made 2 WestPac trips, which included operations in the Vietnam area with the 7th Fleet, and we did a lot of training with other countries and stuff like that. And we made just special ops and a lot of ops around San Diego. And there's some ops that are still classified to this day. Working in the back of the boat, I kind of went wherever the boat went, and they say go faster, I made it go faster. They say go slower, I made it go slower. They opened the hatch, and there we were. So we had a rather long special ops once. Then when I think we were submerged, 56 days I think it was, and it was quite interesting. To this day, I don't eat powdered anything because after a couple of weeks, you eat powdered everything. We visited, oh my goodness, Hong Kong, Japan, the Philippines, a number of places, Korea, Saudi. I think that's pretty much the most of it. We passed across the equator and became shellbacks, and of course the 180th parallel, and we did all that stuff that's traditional. But our ports of call were generally really good, fueled up. I learned I was a new father when we pulled into, actually I learned my wife was pregnant in Alaska, and I learned that I was a new father. We were in Korea. And I met that kid when I got home from the last WestPac. Well, I had a new baby to come home to, so it was very, very interesting. We were glad to be home. I was surprised to see that the boat was being decommissioned. And a decommission ceremony is somewhat like going to a funeral. The Navy is very traditional. That ship is very special. And that was quite a ceremony to go to the decommissioning ceremony of that ship. The parts I remember is the traditional parts of you know, she's something. I mean, she's not just a piece of steel out there. She had personality to herself. A number of tremendous men have sailed that boat since she was put in the water. And the part I remember is just the traditional of the whole thing and the parts of the ceremony that, you know, finally decommissioned her. And it's heartbreaking to think she's razor blades now, but you know, that's a fact. She was more of a Cold War submarine that got close to hot water sometimes. I would say just as one of our magnificent submarines with magnificent people. And all submarines are the same thing though, magnificent submarines with magnificent people. But in fact, life back home wasn't bad at all. I had extended another time to go to another special school, so I just kept staying in, but I decided not to make the Navy a career, and I got out and worked for the power company for the next 36 years.